Onyfix, a nail correction system that enables completely painless treatment of almost all forms of involuted and ingrown toenails. It will bring them back to the natural shape as they grow. As a reminder, any and all products shown or mentioned are not sponsored by these companies. They are products that we use daily.
I just removed this corner of that nail to give her relief from this ingrown nail. Now what we want to do is put Onyfix on here, but before we do that, it's still painful in this area. So we took this piece out. We're going to take a piece of KT tape. We're going to peel off the backing of this KT tape, and we're going to place it under and on just below this area. And we want to pull tension on this area to pull it down and out of here to keep them locked so that they don't move. Now that we've got this anchored, we're going to start applying the Onyfix. The first thing I did was I used a file and used a diamond bit, and I ground down some of this. We'll show you one more time. If you notice, we're using an Aerovax unit to grab dust, and we're also using a handpiece with a dust extractor on it. You can call it an e-file, and we've locked in the diamond bit. We're hooking up this to this area so that we've got source capture here and source capture there. And I've got a mask on in addition to that, and we're going to just prepare this area for the Onyfix. We're going to wipe it down with alcohol, with using a pad. We're going to wipe all this down with alcohol. We're going to let that dry, and we're going to get our kit out. We're going to take out the primer from this side here. We're going to take a drop of the primer, put it in here. One drop. Then we get a brand new Q-tip. We're going to soak that primer up in the Q-tip, and we're going to treat this whole area right here. The reason we're treating the whole area is that we may add more later, and we don't want to go back in and try to prep the nail again. Now we have to bond this by using a blue light. This will activate the photo initiator. I'm going to turn this light off, and I'm going to turn a blue light on for 45 seconds to a minute. And we're going to keep this on there, and I'm looking at the clock on the wall. So it's going to take 45 seconds to a minute. I'm going to turn off the other vacuum system for the handpiece. So I'm very cautious in my practice. I use both a Aerovax ventilator for the extra light, and I use the other device to do source capture, so I minimize all the dust that I create during any kind of electrophiles, whether it's fungal nails or normal nails. And we've now hit 45 seconds. We're going to turn this off. we're now going to take the one that had alcohol on it, just make one little quick pass. And the reason we're going to do that is to wipe off any excess product. We're going to put our primer up. We're going to get out the soft material that we use. It's called Onyfix Soft. And we're going to turn our light back on so we can see what we're doing. We're going to have the patient bend her knee for a second. We want to keep this fairly flat so this soft material does not drip. And we want to start at one end here and start applying pressure to the plunger. And that then starts the process of bonding. We want to make it 2 millimeters wide and 2 millimeters high. So what we can do to accomplish that sometimes is do 2 applications. But we want to make sure that this product's on there up to but not touching the skin ideally. The tape gives us a lot better access to the corners, and I'd rather have too much product on there than not enough. So right now we've got the product on. We're going to take the blue light again and cure it. Starting 45 seconds to a minute, we're going to turn the other light off, and we're going to cup the light so it gives the maximum amount, and you're not to stare at the light. Even though it's not UV light, it is a blue light that has activated the photo initiator in that product. So we have the tape holding down the edges to minimize the pressure where the pain came from the ingrown nail. And we're combining that slant back technique with the Onyfix. And we're coming up on 45 seconds. I tend to go a full minute with the curing process on the soft product. And we're now at that minute. We want to still take the alcohol tipped and rub over this to get up any extra material so that it's not too tacky. And we're going to look at what this looks like now under the light to see how much of, and what I'd like to do is fill in the back a little bit more. So I'm going to put a second layer of polish on. So we're going to put another layer, and I'm using my thumb here as an anchor to help apply this. This will give us a 2 millimeter height. It'll also give us a little bit more base. And that gives us our height, and it gives us our coverage. And of course, we have to cure that again. So we're going to spend another minute, and this will be finished just as soon as we wipe it down, and she'll be ready to go home. So we've spent maybe 10 minutes total taking care of the nail first, preparing the nail next, applying and wiping with alcohol, then applying primer, then wiping that down again with alcohol, then applying the product, the soft product, then wiping that down and putting another layer of the product on. And this should give her her best conservative approach to reducing pain and discomfort. So I'm going to ask the patient, does it feel better than when you came in?
Yes.
Okay, that's the best answer I can get. And you were a 7 out of 10 pain. That's a minute. We're going to wipe it down the final time. And that is our visit for today. We'll